Hey guys, Juan here from Impaktech USA, and today we are going to do a build breakdown of our 2024 Yamaha MT-07. Now this is a stunt dedicated build. We're still going to be adding more parts in the future, but right now this video is going to be what we've done already to the bike. We bought the bike brand new. It has 0 miles on the dash when we bought it, and right now it currently has about 300 miles. So we're going to start up here in the front. The first thing that we did is our Impaktech Easy Pull clutch lever. We went with a 2-finger length. That's going to be the 5-inch on our website. It honestly makes it so easy to pull this clutch lever. That's the #1 thing that you should have if you're going to be practicing wheelies, with the exception of the crash cage. We have a Brembo 16 RCS for the handbrake, and we have a Brembo 19 RCS for the front master. The bars that we're running are going to be the Pro Taper. These are going to be the new carbon fiber ones that they made. This is the CR High. So the reason why we like to run the CR High is because you're able to move the clutch lever and your handbrake setup closer to the center of the bike. That way, if you have smaller or larger hands, you're able to play with the controls a lot better. With the stock handlebars, it really restricts it. So you really have to crowd those two controls there. Moving forward, we have a custom CNC triple tree in billet aluminum. Super nice setup. We have both of our reservoirs for our handbrake and our rear handbrake right here mounted on. We had to do a custom bracket to be able to fit the 2024 dash. The 2024 LCD dash is different than the 2023 in regards to its size. So we had to make the bracket to fit the 2024, and we also cut the plastic cover to make it look really OEM, so it looks nice. Brake lines. We went with Core Moto brake lines throughout the entire bike. The bike comes with ABS, but we removed the entire ABS system out, and it has Core Moto for the front, for the handbrake, for the rear. Everything's Core Moto. We use poly tube lines to hold our fluid, and then the brake fluid we have is going to be from Motul. It's the 5.1. We'll throw an image of it here. That's the one that we like to use because it doesn't break down during heat. For the front fork, these bikes are so notorious for having a saggy front end. I mean, you can literally, on a stock MT-07, with little to no force, move the front forks up and down, up and down. So we immediately changed that. We went with a K-Tech cartilage kit, which again, we'll throw up here with the part numbers. It's the entire kit. So we had to do a lot of modifications to the forks to be able to modify this kit, but now it has rebound to compression. We can make it really stiff, we can make it soft, we can play around with a lot of settings. We did eliminate a lot of the controls on the handlebars as well. So we don't have our high beams, low beams, turn signals. This is going to be a dedicated stunt bike, so we're not going to use any of that. It just kind of cleans everything up really nice and sweet. For our grips, we went with ODI Grips. Super great grips, super cheap. They're like 10 bucks, you know, really inexpensive, and they feel nice. We got this Vortex cap, which is really nice. It's CNC billet aluminum, and it allows you to not have to take your key out constantly, having to open your key and put your gas in there. Eventually, we are going to do a keyless ignition. Right now, we're still planning on riding this bike on the street, but eventually it's going to be a bike that's only going to be at the lot. So we're going to remove the key. We don't want to be in a position on the tank where if we put our legs over the handlebars, we kick that key because it can turn into a really bad situation. So we're gonna go keyless ignition. Now the most important part is gonna be our beautiful Impaktech MT-07 crash cage. We have this crash cage powder coated in illusion purple along with the rear adjustable subcage. This crash cage is awesome. It does not interfere with your shins. It does not interfere with your knees, regardless if you're tall, if you're short, if you're bulkier, if you're slimmer. It's a no-cut kit, so it requires 0 modifications to your fairings. The only thing that you have to do is, if you have a stock OEM exhaust, you have to remove the heat shield in order for our crossbar to fit through there. Other than that, nothing. The crossbar mounts in 3 separate locations. You have the main motor mount location. You have the rear all-thread, which is held by 2 steel bracket plates. Very, very sturdy. And then you have the lower crossbar. We have been selling this for the last 12 years. We were the first company to design them for the FZ07. I have not warrantied any MT-07 cages to this day. We've probably sold over 40,000 MT-07 cages to this day. So definitely a great option. If you are planning to wheelie, before you get any of these parts, a crash cage needs to be on your top priority list. Moving to the back, we have the Impaktech adjustable subcage. The 2023 and 2024 MT-07s come with a bracket to hold your reservoir. And the really neat thing that we did is if you reverse that bracket and put a spacer in there, it can remount to the subcage. So as you can see, it's very clean, really nice setup. You have so many different adjustability options. If you're just learning how to wheelie and you're not going to be touching the rear pegs, you can raise the pegs as high as possible. That way, in case of a drop, which is going to happen when you're learning, it protects the rear subframe of the bike. And then once you get the hang of it, once you get the hang of brake control, you can lower the pegs again and start doing staggards, start putting your feet on there, getting really comfortable. If you're shorter, if you're taller, you have full adjustability in the pegs, 360 degrees. Everything's made here in the US, all of our Impaktech products. So if for some reason you were to get in a fall and a peg break or a puck shatter, you can go to the website and order all those replacement parts and they ship out same day. So we have a dual R6 fan setup. These bikes do get hot. We got the bracket from the Six Shop. The bracket basically just upgrades the plastic tabs that are on the radiator to some really thick tabs. And it's aluminum, so it's lightweight. And that allows you to put on the R6 Panasonic fans. The Six Shop also sells the R6 Panasonic fans, so you don't have to go on eBay and try to figure out which one's left, which one's right, if they work or they don't work. I know he tests all of them in his shop. For the coolant, we used engine ice, and then you do have to replace the fuse in the fuse box with a shorter fuse. We'll put the fuse size here because once you have two fans, the stock fuse is just going to continue to blow out. The engine has the Jason Britton ECU flash. Basically, it just turns the fans on at a lower temperature, but the biggest thing is it removes a lot of the unnecessary engine braking. These MT-07s are very notorious for the moment you let off the throttle, the bike just wants to slam down. The engine brake is very strong. If you're used to wheeling a Honda Grom, or if you're used to wheeling maybe a ZX-XR or any other bike that doesn't have engine braking, this is going to feel very uncomfortable for you. So the ECU flash definitely allows the engine braking to be removed, not completely, but it allows it to be removed in critical spots where Jason thought it was necessary. We have an idle adjuster from the Six Shop. This allows us to be able to raise the idle when we're doing no-handed circles. You definitely want to raise the idle for 4,000 to 4,500 RPM. On a ZX-XR, you have it from the factory. There's a stock idle adjuster there that you don't have to add or modify. With the MT-07s, they don't come like that from the factory. So if you want to have an idle, you have to go to the Six Shop and purchase that there. We have some rear sets here. These rear sets are not from Impaktech. We have a 52 tooth steel sprocket from the Six Shop, and then we have a gold chain. The stock sprocket is great. The stock suspension is very crappy on the MT-07s. So the first thing you want to do if you want to stay budget friendly is get a Saggy Ass Fix. There's a couple of companies that make a Saggy Ass Fix. We got ours from the Six Shop. One part that isn't on the motorcycle just yet. So just like the front, we went the fully adjustable rear K-Tech shock. We wanted the suspension to just be a lot stiffer, and we wanted to have the ability to be able to adjust it. K-Tech was generous enough to valve the shock according to the specs that we needed. It comes with a reservoir. It's a really bitchin' shock. So we love Toce performance. If you look at the way that the Toce hugs the swing arm, it's very close. When you have a very nice and expensive carbon fiber exhaust and you drop it, right, it's going to shatter. There's going to be a hole in there. It's not going to sound the same. It's not going to look as pretty. It's going to destroy the whole look of the bike. How do we know? We've done it several times. On our ZX-XRs, we have carbon fiber exhaust, and when you get really low in drifting or where you're learning new things, you're going to damage it. So we love Toce because, one, they're made in the US, but two, because of the fact that it hugs very closely. I can drop the bike as many times as I want, and I know that Toce exhaust is never gonna hit the floor. And we got the black version on the headers as well, so it helps a lot with the heat. It sounds great. I've never had a problem with it. Super easy to install. Shipping's really quick. This is the exhaust that I would go with if I have an MT-07. Handbrake setup. So we have the SS Moto handbrake bracket. This bracket allows you to mount 3 calipers. Currently, we only have 2 calipers mounted. We have an R7 monoblock, and then for our foot brake, we have a Brembo P34. We're gonna add another monoblock in the future to the bottom portion if we need to stiffen up our handbrake. we'll probably go with like a 19 instead of a 16 once the bike becomes a full lot bike. But currently right now, the way we have it, it's perfect. The bracket still allows you to retain all the OEM components, so you're not going to lose your speedometer or anything of that sort, which is dope. So on the engine side, Toce was kind enough again to send us a Quickshifter. So this Quickshifter you can order from the Toce website as well. MT-07s don't come from the factory with a Quickshifter, so we went ahead and installed this Quickshifter. It's great. For the tire setup, on the front we have a Dunlop Q5S, and then for the rear we have a Dunlop 300 GP. Stock, these come with Michelin tires, but I think they're like rain tires. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but we immediately got rid of those and we added these beautiful Dunlop tires to the front and to the rear. For the rear, it wears out very nice on the left and on the right side, especially if you're drifting, and the front instant grip with that Q5S. So if you're doing stoppies, it's warmed up immediately. I'm 99% sure that's it. There might be maybe one or two parts that I'm not thinking of. But that's pretty much going to be how the 2024 MT-07 stands as of now. The modifications we're going to do in the future, okay? This is something that we're working on currently right now. I want to do a really nice stunt tank. The problem with doing a stunt tank on these MT-07s or R7s is all of this is just plastic. In order to get to the tank, you got to remove all these plastics, and the tank is this itty bitty little thing that you have to cut, and you can't really widen it because the stock tank is so small. To me it just looks very ugly. We were the first people to do one on the R7 and cut out the plastics and make it look super OEM and clean. I've seen a lot of people do that. So what we're gonna do is I am gonna try to fabricate a tank that looks exactly how this looks, out of sheet metal, and then open it up here. So all these plastics are gonna go away, and we're gonna try to manufacture something that looks identical to this. It's gonna be one of one. We're probably not gonna sell them, but I'm gonna show you an example of how something like that would look, just to make the bike look that much better. All right, so that's it. That's our 2024 Yamaha MT-07. We are gonna be doing another video once it's fully complete, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on how it's looking now. If you have any questions or concerns, anything regarding parts, our crash cage, our sub cage, our lever, our fat pegs, hit us up on Instagram. Impaktech is our name on Instagram. We have about 250,000 followers. Our email is impacttechusa@gmail.com. We have a customer support line that's open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 951-233-7335. All of these parts are in stock on our website, the cage, subcage, and lever. We offer them in raw and we offer them in black. If you want to get a custom color like this, you can go on the website and go to color codes and see what color codes exactly we use. Order your cage raw and then take it to your local powder coater. Our lead times right now are extremely fast. We have the shortest lead times out of anybody in the industry. Raw will ship out within 2 to 3 days, and black will ship out within a week or two. And yeah, that's pretty much it.